everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Aya from Japan. I'd like to talk about my passion. I have a question. How do you create a world peace? I know the answer, so I would like to share. This is my answer. This is my previous workplace, my family, my house, and my life. Sport changed my life. This is a Japan-based NGO started in 1983 by the group of Japanese university students to respond to the government censorship regarding to Japan's post-military aggression in Asian countries. In the 80s, Japanese government tried to change the context of the history book. They tried to erase the war crime facts such as comfort women genocide in China and many other countries. And the anti-Japan movement increased in many post-colonial countries. So those university students stood up and chartered a board visiting those former colonial Asian countries to meet people and find out what had actually happened and find out the peaceful solution. So that is the background of the Peace Board. Since then, these students kept traveling around the world and expanded to worldwide cruise. And after 34 years, Peace Board is still growing. Now, one voyage brings 1,000 passengers. And voyaging 100 days, visiting 20 ports, 15 countries, average. Yesterday, ship was in Iceland, actually, and it is our 94th voyage. Now, I'd like to show you about my experience a little bit. This is me singing in the summer festival on the board. 5 years ago, I joined this voyage as a passenger. I just wanted to travel as many countries as possible, and this cruise ship is the easiest way, I thought. But it was very, very different from what I imagined. It was not like a holiday cruise kind of thing. We don't have casinos or circus show or big concert on board, but we participants organize the events themselves. We dance and perform, sing a lot, and having party, just like IPC. Ship is just like a small earth. 1,000 people from different cultures, genders, professions, and countries, spending 100 days together, eating together, fall in love, and conflicting sometimes, and understanding the difference or individuality through the voyage. We become a big family. There is not a single day I don't think about Peace Board since then. It will be easy to imagine IPC floating on the ocean, in the ocean. I hope to come back for a long time, and after 3 years, here I am. I look very professional. I know some of my friends say like I just look like a costume play in Japan. But anyway, I got a position as a nurse on board, and I had been working for 2 years. I quit it just before coming to IPC. Yeah, and so I have visited more than 60 countries so far. And go back to the Peace Board. Here is the Peace Board mission. We try to promote peace, human rights, sustainability, and respect for the environment through the voyage. Peace Board Sales is an official campaigner for the US United Nations SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. So, many of the lectures and workshops programs are held according to this SDG throughout the voyage. We have lectures and workshops related to the country we are heading off, so we can understand more beforehand. When we arrive at the port, we can either walk around by themselves or join the tours. And this is a picture. I went to the orphanage in Sri Lanka. It's one of the exchange program. And we also go to Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland, or land minefield in Cambodia, and geothermal power plant in Iceland. And almost every year, some group of people from Peace Board is coming to IPC to study about the educational system in Denmark. This is a picture, me visiting the youth orchestra group, located in very poor community in Venezuela. We donated some youth instruments to their children and helped painting the wall. It's me painting the wall. And this Venezuelan NPO is bringing musical opportunities to millions of young people living in poverty to reduce juvenile delinquency. I'll never forget the moment when we arrived at the community. These kids welcomed us with mini orchestra performance of traditional Japanese songs. It was very overwhelming with emotion. I was very overwhelmed. This emotion is different to explain. And it is so important. This emotion I experienced through this grassroots communication is not what you can get from the textbook at school. You can see documentary movies, you can read books, but when you actually meet people there, see their real situation, you start to put yourself in their shoes. That's what I learned from this voyage. Here is another big project we are committing as a Peace Board, so I want to introduce it. Have you heard about this ICAN? It's an abbreviation of International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. Those people are demonstrating in front of the United Nations and many other places. Peace Board, this campaign, Peace Board is a main member of this campaign, and we invite 8 to 10 hibakusha. Hibakusha is a Japanese word. In other words, it's atomic bomb survivors in Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the war. So we invite those people on board, and they give testimonies throughout the war during the voyage. We call this project Paper Crane Project. Paper crane is a symbolic of peace in Japan. I was surprised last night, but Rieko was making accessories of the paper crane, earring, I think, so you can take a look. She's gonna sell it outside of this lecture hall later. And regarding this paper crane project, I was very impressed by these two guest educators last year. This guy with glasses on the left picture, his name is Clifton Truman Daniel. He is a grandson of the former US President Harry Truman, who made a fatal decision to drop the atomic bomb. And he came to Japan and he met many survivors, heard the story, and now he is collecting all the testimonies and holding discussion around the world for nuclear-free war. And this guy, he is my friend Ari Beezer. He is a grandson of the US Army who was both on the planes dropped bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He told us that in school in the US, he was told that the dropping atomic bomb was kind of a positive thing to end the war. But since he came to Japan and interacted with those survivors, he changed his mind, and now he is working as a web reporter of the Peace Board and do some activities together. I was told that there are two types of peace activities, negative peace and positive peace. Negative peace isn't a bad thing. It means we will achieve peace through the absence of something. Like we get rid of landmines and nuclear weapons or guns, then we achieve peace. Positive peace is a little different. It means that people come together and build a better relationship. We can do that. Sure, we can demand that our government have high-level discussion to eliminate the weapons of war, but we can come together as ordinary people from opposite ends of the conflict and build better relationships ourselves. Isn't it quite something? Spending time with those nuclear survivors for 3 months together and listening to their heartbreaking stories in person was such a powerful and emotional experience for me. Together with Christian Truman and Ari Beezer, Japanese people have a huge responsibility to send a message of war to the world, because we know what had happened in the past. When we forget about those survivors, we could repeat the same mistake again. Empathy is a key to world peace. Who is sitting next to you now? Where is your roommate come from? Do you like her or him? Is he very different from you? What if your country starts to attack her country? What if his country is suffering from nuclear disaster? And you realize it is not someone else's business anymore. You feel her pain. You take an action. Then you already experience this positive peace in IPC. I'm very proud of Peaceful Mission, and I can't imagine my life without them, but I thought it's time to move on to the next stage. And I actually take an interview and got a position, and I'm voyaging this summer again. And this time, I'm not a nurse. I got a position called a communication coordinator, giving a language support as a translator, English to Japanese and Japanese to English. I know it's a very challenging thing for me, but it's worth challenging. Life is a journey, and only you hold the map. I hope you also keep traveling, make many friends around the world, and be the change.